All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome back. We will reopen our regularly scheduled meeting, and we have two action items this evening. The first one is multiple bid award, emergency medical services, medical supplies. Chief Clough? Oh,
President, do we have a
changed clothes.
closed session report?
Oh, that is correct. Thank you. Counsel?
Thank you. Here's the closed session report. Pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9A, the workers' compensation claim of Robert Ferry was considered by the board in closed session. By unanimous vote, with Directors Orzali and Newcomer absent, the board extended a settlement authority to the district's third-party administrator. There was also another workers' compensation claim of Kevin Henry that was considered pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9A. This was considered by the board in closed session. By unanimous vote, with Directors Orzali and Newcomer absent, the board extended settlement authority to the district's third-party administrator. Finally, pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9B, the board conferred with counsel regarding a potential litigated matter. No action was taken.
Thank you, sir. All righty, now we will move to action items, multiple bid award. Mr. Jones, welcome to the podium.
Thank you. Mark Jones, Logistics and Purchasing Manager. Chief Clough is talking with the lady outside, so I told him I would fill in for him if you'll accept that.
Thank you.
On March 12th, Metro Fire released our request for proposal for emergency medical supplies. It was a non-exclusive exclusive contract for 3 years with a couple two one-year extensions. We ran it for about 30 days, March 11th. March 9th through about April 8th or 9th. We had 12 companies respond to it. One company did not bid. The other 12 companies bid. There was only one that bid on every single item. We posted 226 of our EMS items that we supply in logistics. Let's see here. Henry Schein and Life Assist were the two companies that came close. Life Assist bid on every single item. It was not sole source items for the most part. We were accepting equivalent items, and even with that, Life Assist came in cheaper. Overall, they were about $37 cheaper on the one-for-one bids that Henry Schein had put in also. Life Assist, there was one company, VitaCare, who supplies our EZ-IO needles. They're the only company that supplies those, so this is why it's going to be a multiple award that we're going to request. Life Assist is a local company, right, based in Rancho Cordova, so the money will stay right here in Rancho Cordova, the tax revenue, which we think is a great idea. They also offer a 2% discount on freight. Because they're a mile from my logistics division, we can just drive right over and pick it up from there. We get that every quarter. We get a freight rebate from what we get from them. We also have been really timely at paying them. We get a 3% payment discount within 45 days. No one does it within 45 days except Life Assist. Everybody is 30 days or less. So they've extended that out to 45 days. So we would love to recommend Life Assist and VitaCare to continue. They are our current vendor, by the way, and we've had great luck with Life Assist, so we'd like to continue doing that with your approval.
All right, thank you.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions or any further discussion? Hearing none and seeing none, please call the roll.
Directors Monk.
Aye.
Gould.
Aye.
Kelly.
Aye.
Scheidegger.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
Pearson.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Orzali and Newcomer absent. Motion passes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mark. Appreciate the work. All right, a second action item, resolution directing board clerk to issue request to County Board of Supes. General Counsel.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. This concerns Division 4 and the upcoming November 6th election. No declarations of candidacy were received for the November 6, 2012 election. They had to be in by August 10, 2012. Under this circumstance, under the Elections Code, Section 10515B, the supervising authority, which in this case is the County of Sacramento Board of Supervisors, appoints the person to the office. The person appointed shall take the office and serve exactly as if elected at a general election. The Sacramento County Board of Supervisors requires a formal request to be made to the county by the clerk of the district board. So it's our recommendation that you adopt a resolution directing the board clerk to issue the request to Sacramento County Board of Supervisors to appoint the Division 4 board member.
All right. Director Pearson?
Quick question, going forward with this, does this appointee need to reside within that district boundaries?
Yes, they must be qualified to hold the position of director, which includes residency.
Okay.
An opportunity for us to request the Board of Supervisors refuse to do that and send it back to this board for appointment?
Under the statute, there's no exception to that. I think the authority resides solely with the counties.
To make the appointment, not to defer it back to the policymaking body of the agency that requested?
That's correct.
Excuse me, and that's because, I have the same question, that's because in this case, it's the tie to the election period as opposed to the last two vacancies that were filled through our own process.
That's right. This is different from a vacancy situation.
Thank you.
And I have a question in terms of the timeline. When is the drop dead date for their making an appointment?
They have to make the appointment effective on the date of the election, so that would be November 6th. And then the person would take office, I believe, on the first Friday of December following it. It would be the normal process for you when you take your office after an election. So it would follow just as if the person had been elected on November 6th.
All right, and so it's from receipt of the correspondence from the clerk until November 6th. Now, so do they have to do that right, their meeting before November 6th? Does it have to be accomplished before that date?
It would. It would have to be agendized by them in a timely fashion so as to allow that appointment to take effect on November 6th.
Then what happens if there is no appointment?
Now, that's a good question. They're required by law to make that appointment. So if there was a failure to make that appointment, again, the typical remedy would be a writ of mandate to the Superior Court to require them to exercise their obligation to
On that
appoint.
route. Okay, all right. Well, thank you, thank you. Any other? Okay,
Staff's recommendation.
been first and seconded. Would you please call the roll?
Directors Monk,
Aye.
Gould,
Aye.
Kelly,
Aye.
Scheidegger,
Aye.
Clark,
Aye.
Pearson,
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Directors Orzali, newcomer absent, motion passes.
Right. We have one presentation item this evening regarding the 2015 U.S. Senior Open. And we have Mr. Rusty Dupre. Welcome to the podium.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board, good evening. I am Rusty Dupre. I'm the Government Affairs Coordinator for the district, and I'm going to make a quick presentation on behalf of the chief who couldn't make it tonight. About a month ago, the chief and I were approached by members of the Del Paso Country Club and the USGA, or United States Golf Association, regarding a premier event that they're going to put on at Del Paso Country Club in 2015, and that is the Senior Open. They asked us to partner with the club and with the USGA regarding providing EMS services at the event. And it's pretty impressive for them to come to us in 2012 for an event that's in 2015. They're doing a lot of great planning, and it's going to be a great program. Tuesday night, Chief Holbrook and I attended a planning session with the country club members and members of the USGA officials for the upcoming event. So I want to go through a quick little slide presentation, and then I'll answer any questions you might have at the end. So this is just a picture from a previous Open. And do you do it or do I? Okay. Yeah, no, that's not Del Paso. This is Del Paso, looking from the backside of the country club, and this is what the country club. What's interesting is when we met with these officials, they're not just going to go in and just use the existing course. They're going to go in and completely redesign the course and make the fairways narrower and make some of the distances longer and add more traps and all kinds of neat things. So this is what it looks like now. I can't say what it's going to look like when the tournament comes around. Additionally, they're going to make the rough much thicker than it is normally to make it more competitive and more difficult. Here's some facts from the championship. It's going to be on the June 22nd through the 28th in 2015. You can see some of the past champions. They expect to have 156 professional and amateurs. They will have 18 qualifying events throughout the United States, and out of those 18 events, they'll come up with their 156 players. This is the first time ever that this organization has held a tournament in Northern California, and it's a not-for-profit organization, which is basically made up of folks from the country club that are gathering all the revenues, and any revenues above and beyond the expenses for the tournament will go to their first tee, which I think is a junior golf group. They anticipate the attendance to be over 150,000, and that's being conservative. Which will probably be the largest single event in the Sacramento region, and it'll be larger than the air show. It'll be larger than the U.S. Olympic trials. So it'll be a very large event in a very small space. Kids under 17 are free, and there's going to be more than 3,000 volunteers. This is a list. You can see the economic impact to the region. 18 million for the local economy, 25,000 hotel room nights, 7,000 cars. Again, the biggest event ever. They need to raise $6 million to put on the event, and they've already raised over $2 million. So they're really doing a great job moving forward with this. They expect $11 million in visitor expenditures, over $1 million in tax revenues, and over 500 credentialed media, and 10 to 15 hours of national and international broadcast coverage. These are the previous open sites. You can see the only one on there is Riviera from California, which is down near Pacific Palisades. This is what the schedule looks like. It's a 7-day event. The first 3 are practice round days, and the number in parentheses is the attendance numbers that they expect. Again, these are very conservative. They think they'll be even higher than that. So the first 3 practice rounds, 15 to 20,000 people, and then when the 4-day tournament shows up, it'll be 25,000 people each day, and probably even more on that final round on Sunday. Okay, this is where Metro Fire comes into play. Historically, they've had 2, that says trucks, this is their slideshow. 2 ambulances or medic units on site during the championship. They usually have 1 at the main entrance and 1 at the clubhouse. Staffing is minimal, and I'll get into that in the next slide. And they also have medical trailers on site, 2 of them staffed by doctors and nurses, which will be able to handle all the routine stuff that happens at the course during the day. Again, historically, 2 ambulances on site, 2 EMS certified personnel per truck, ambulance. And then on the course, this is still flexible. This is what they've done in the past, but will be up to our senior staff working with the USGA folks to determine how many people they actually need. But we anticipate on the first 3 days we'll have 8 total paramedics or EMTs, 4 on golf carts and 4 on bicycles, and then during the actual tournament itself, we'll have 12, 4 on bikes or 4 on carts and 8 on bikes. So with that, we just asked if there's any questions, and I think what the chief would like is for us to get the board's blessing to be a partner with the USGA and the Del Paso Country Club, and I know it's not agendized as such, but I think if we
We can have a consensus approval, sure. Oh, I'm sure there are a lot of questions. What's your handicap? No, go ahead. Director Pearson, we'll go around.
Golf.
Couple questions. First, I mean, are they just wanting our name? Are they wanting us to donate these positions on the course?
Well, they're going to need the medical people out there regardless, and I don't think they want just their name, they want us. And what we've done in the past, like the air show and at the Epi's Great Race and at the Sac State boat races, we've provided folks in carts and on bikes, and I'm sure that we can get enough volunteers to help beef up the staff, but we'll also put 1 or 2 ambulances on duty out there. Again, this will be up to the staff, the chief at the time, the board, it'll all be negotiable.
Okay, and then my other question, I'm sure you and the chief have looked into it because you're both pretty smart, but the history with Del Paso Country Club, as far as their admittance with their, how to be a member of that club. I know in other areas they've had problems or issues with different tournaments and where that club, didn't allow certain people. Has that ever been an issue with Del Paso?
I
we're
don't
gonna
know
run
anything
into?
about that. That's a total political issue that myself or the chief are totally unaware of.
So, I mean, they're not an inclusive, if we're gonna be putting our name on this, and then we come to find out, let's say they don't, allow women to be members, or they don't allow women to be voting members, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know if we want to get involved in that. I'm sure they're not. I've never heard of that. I don't think it's an issue, but I doubt it is,
At
but,
the planning meeting 2 days ago, there were probably more women there than men. And I think many of them were members and many of them were on the planning staff and the USGA staff. But I don't know the answer to that.
Longest or oldest country club, and probably the most difficult to gain membership into. But that's not to say they have any discretion or exclusionary practices that I'm aware of. I've played at that golf course with both people of color and women, so I don't know that there's any problems.
It'd be a great boost for the community. I know knowing where it's located, right? It's over Watt Avenue over there. Is that the one we're talking about? Mm-hmm. Well, that's gonna
Marconi.
be logistically crazy,
Well-
but
Probably have to park cars at Cal Expo.
Exactly.
yeah, I mean,
They've already, their parking plan, and you're right, Director Kelly, they are gonna park and shuttle folks from Cal Expo and Sac State and, at many different locations. And if you look at that footprint, it's a very, very small
oh,
footprint,
absolutely.
compared to some of these other golf courses. But, the officials, both from the club and from the USGA, walked the entire course multiple times with planning of where people are gonna be, where the ropes are gonna be, where the grandstands are gonna be, and they've got it all logistically planned out. And again, like Director Kelly said, they will be parking off-site, Cal Expo, and being bussed in.
They will change the layout of the golf course as well to better accommodate grandstands, and so if you've ever played, it won't play the same way. They'll change holes around.
That'll be very
Their
different.
18th hole is a beautiful hole, but there's no room for grandstands, so I think they're actually going to use number 3 or 4.
Yeah, I think they talked about switching a couple holes so that they could have the final hole with a bit more grandstands.
Because that golf course, they just did some repairs, because I remember us doing some work. I walked the golf course with one of the contractors.
They did an extensive
A lot
remodel
of
of that
work,
golf
yeah,
course
yeah.
and cut down hundreds
trees.
of trees.
Yeah, I know, I
Well, they have a greenskeeper from the USGA that's gonna be spending a lot, basically out here the final year before the tournament advising, and he's got the watering schedule and the chemicals and everything down to, under the end.
Director Gould?
Madam Chair, I think we need to jump on this and be fully supportive 100%. $11 million revenue into this town. If you just heard what the Federal Reserve did today, they don't see the economy getting any time better soon. And so I think that this is a wonderful opportunity for us to show the community how involved we want to be in seeing the recovery. And I think we should run full steam ahead and participate in this in a major way if we're being asked to. That's the essence of what a fire department does when they're not involved in all the other things that they're doing, is they take the resources that belong to those same people and put them in different situations. And so I think this is awesome, 100% supportive. Let's be very involved.
Thank you, Director Gould.
And
And
I'd
we'll
like-
also be working with, the sheriff will be out there, the Sacramento Police will be out there, CHP will be involved. I mean, it's gonna be a unified command, so to speak, at, the command center.
We can offer that from our perspective, and the other specialties that the fire department gets involved in, and the firefighters, whether it's a union or our fire department. We have specialists that like to cook. If we're gonna have that many people out there, there's gonna be a lot of hungry people out there too.
Yeah, they're gonna have a lot of, vendor space out there, and that's a good possibility too.
Right.
Hell, yeah.
Okay. And I think it's a heck of a feather in the cap for the Sacramento region. Terrific event, absolutely fantastic event. And I'm sure that within the incident command, unified command area, I applaud you for 3 years prior getting out there and already establishing protocol and issues and so on. And also is there a helicopter pad anywhere in that area?
No, we joked about, we're gonna have ambulances and fire engines and bike medics. Why not bring the helicopter out? You know, I don't think there would be a
No,
place
actually, I
for it
was
to
being
land
kind of
it.
serious because it will be a traffic jam. I mean,
There's a
potentially.
possibility. I mean, we may end up having an EMS helicopter out
But
there.
that's what I'm talking about. I didn't
Right.
mean to make our air ops per se, because that's a firefighting situation. I was thinking of the EMS.
I know that they are building a contingency into where they would park one if they needed it.
Well, I just think it's a wonderful event, and congratulations for being there and getting Metro Fire.
All right, well, then I
So
can report
involved.
to the chief. It looks like, there's support from the board.
And I wanted to add that if you need assistance in some areas of it,
That's great.
get a hold of us.
Okay, thank
All
you very
right,
much.
thank you, Mr. Dupre. It's nice to have some fun news, some good news. All right. We've come to the president's report. I don't have a report tonight. Chief?
Thank you. Tonight, Mark Wells sitting in, Deputy Chief for Fire Chief Kurt Hinke, who is off in Colorado Springs at the annual IAFF, International Association of Firefighters Fallen Firefighter Memorial, with several members of the command staff and a large contingency of union representation from Metro Fire as well. So they're off at that this evening. My first item would be just a brief update on the CalPERS AB 340 that'll be signed allegedly tomorrow in Southern California. Basically, it's the pension reform that would be going into effect in January for both new and existing employees. However, for Metro Fire's purposes, really the new employees would have the balance of the burden. The existing employees would be just a couple of changes to that, and I could answer any specific questions on that. But in general, they are eliminating airtime. We're already, for Metro Fire, which I think is a great statement of what this board and the men and women of Metro Fire have already done, are already paying a large percentage of our cost of PERS, the normal cost of PERS. So we're well on our way there. And so essentially the elimination of airtime is the only thing that's really going to hit us for existing employees. And then, of course, the new employees would have pension caps, increased retirement age, the 3-year average of your last year of PERS for retirement purposes. The retirement restrictions, you have to sit out for 6 months, but we do that currently anyway for our annuitant status employees, so that's not really a change for us at Metro anyway. Final comp pay and felony forfeiture of your retirement benefit if you're convicted of a felony in the course of your duties. That would be new employees, and no retroactive increases, and no pension holidays. Those would be all for current and new members. So those are some of the things on the AB 340 pension reform that's coming up. A lot of discussion initially. I know Rusty had a lot of days down at the Capitol in the lobby, and I know Rhonda McFarland, the CFO, the HR manager, Melissa Maddox, and the fire chief went to a CalPERS briefing on that, I believe a couple weeks ago when this was really hitting the press. So I'd be welcome to entertain any questions on that if you have any. Just a quick update on that.
I have one question on the retirement. Does that include the medical? Because they say the PERS retirement, the cost, are they including medical costs on that or just pension?
I don't believe so. I believe it's the normal cost of PERS. So wouldn't consider the medical contribution. Am I correct on that, Rhonda? Pension only, yes. Okay, so if there's no further questions on that, moving on with meetings and events attended. On the 30th of August, the Sacramento County Fire Chiefs meeting was held, and the next meeting for that will be October 18th. The fire chief was the first week of September, basically the week of the 4th. He was down at the League of Cities Conference in San Diego. And noteworthy, the fire chief, along with Chiefs Bill Sequoy from Cathedral City, Jay Goldstone of San Diego, and Mike Metro from LA County, presented a fire department's role in EMS medical services presentation to the League of Cities. It was well received. On September 9th, there was the 9/11 Run Walk, and we want to sincerely thank all of our employees that participated in that, as well as the general public that really came out and supported that effort. Metro Fire, I don't want to list names because I'll forget somebody, but we have a great contingent of folks that, for our association and the union, they really do a great job with that, and so kudos to them. Let's see, on the September 10th, we had a meet and discuss with Local 522. These are ongoing meetings that we're having, that we meet twice a month. Of course, 9/11, there was the Memorial Stair Climb. Again, a tremendous tribute to our fallen firefighters and the people in New York City from 9/11. A lot of our members climbed to the top of the building downtown, and so thanks for that participation. On the 12th of September, which was yesterday, the Rancho Cordova 2x2 meeting was held. And today, the fire chief, as I mentioned, and Chief Cochran are back in Colorado Springs. Upcoming events and meetings, on the 16th, there'll be the 10th Annual Northern California Fire Equipment and Memorabilia Swap Meet. That's here in Sacramento at Station 21. It's actually in Citrus Heights, Station 21. Greenback Lane, 7641. Used to work there for about 6 years. WebExes are going to be going on this month in September. The fire chief, of course, the WebEx is where he communicates with all the different shifts and the support staff, getting his message out. It's a good opportunity for them to ask questions directly to the fire chief. Save the date, October 6th. It'll be the second annual Carolyn Martinez Memorial Golf Tournament. And that is, you can get more information about that on the website. It's golf, GOLF 4, which is FORE, Carolyn, CAROLYN.com. And that'll be on the 6th of October. Also on the 6th of October, Safetyville Firefighter Chili Cook-Off. It'll be from noon to 4 p.m. at Safetyville. There's more information. That is the Safetyville Firefighter Chili Cook-Off, 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. at Safetyville. They're on Bradshaw. No, it's October 6th. Same day as the golf tournament. I might have said September. I apologize. It's October 6th. October 13th, the Firefighter Burn Institute is hosting their wine bottling fundraiser, and that'll be from 4 to 6 p.m. Contact the Burn Institute to purchase tickets for that. We can provide more information for that if you wish. October 13th, the Pioneer Mutual Hook and Ladder Society is having the Fallen Firefighter Memorial at the Fireman's Plot at the old cemetery, in Sac City Cemetery at 9:15 a.m. I'd like to welcome new hires effective August 27th was Christy Jorgensen, rejoining the organization as an office technician, assigned to the Community Risk Reduction Division. And effective August 31st is Meta Angeles, who's an accounting technician. And reassignments, Assistant Chief John Wagner is going to oversee the Operations Division on the C shift, and Assistant Chief Walter White is taking the Training Division. So those are two reassignments. We welcome them, and vast expertise from both of them, and we're looking forward to that. So that will conclude my chief's report for tonight, if you don't have any further questions.
Thank you. Is there an operations report?
I believe there is.
All right. Welcome to the podium, Chief White.
Jones, members of the board, Chief Wells. I'll be filling in for Chief Holbrook tonight with the operations report. Since our last board meeting, Metro Fire responded to 2,693 dispatches for medical response and transported 72% of the time. At the same time, American Medical Response also responded to an additional 999 dispatches and transported 70% of the time. Since our last board meeting, which was just 21 days ago, we have had 19 structure fires in the district. Additionally, we have had strike team members deployed, overhead deployment, 9 of which were scheduled for demob today and returned, 2 yesterday from the Chips fire, and we still have 1 overhead single resource member committed to the McGuire fire in Idaho. However, almost all of our members have returned from those out-of-county responses, which is a good thing. Of those 19 structure fires, one of which was the vacant Rancho Cordova Motel, the First Value Inn, which caught fire for the 5th time in the past 2 years. And this has been obviously a recurring problem where homeless or transients, people have been habitating the abandoned hotel, and whether it's due to heating or cooking, have sparked fires that our companies have responded to. And I know that the city, as well as our district, are actively looking at ways to work with the property owner and mitigate the hazard that we have there. Another fire occurred on Hyannis Way here in Rancho Cordova in the middle of the night, shortly after 1:30 in the morning, and the 2 residents were able to escape the home unharmed when they heard loud popping coming from the garage. Our crews were able to contain that primarily to a garage fire. When they arrived, the garage was well involved with flames lapping up the exterior and into the attic space of the home. But the crews did a good job of knocking that down. No one was injured. And we had another early morning fire at a 3-story apartment complex in a vacant downstairs unit. So the cause is considered suspicious. The fire was contained primarily to a contents fire, a smoldering fire at the time our crews arrived and found a significant amount of smoke in the hallways, which required that they evacuated all the occupants of that 3-story apartment complex and had to do extensive smoke removal before the occupants could once again reoccupy the building. Additionally, since our last board meeting, many members of our district assisted with the Capitol Air Show, assisted the city of Rancho Cordova with the Capitol Air Show, which included overhead members for the incident management from Friday through Sunday, as well as our CERT volunteers and bike medics. During the course of the event, we had a total of 304 contacts, medical contacts, and 4 of those resulted in transports. They were primarily for heat-related issues, and they were all managed very effectively, and I was quite impressed with the traffic flow that the city of Rancho Cordova was able to coordinate for the event and make it not only a very successful one, but a very safe one as well. Thank you. Any questions?
All right, thank you, Chief, appreciate it. General Counsel, report.
Nothing to report tonight.
Do we have anyone from Local 522? Are we participating in the International Association of Firefighters for the Fallen Firefighter Memorial? Committee and delegate reports. No report from the Executive Committee. Communication Center, JPA, is there a comment?
I'm just going to report out for Chief Cockrum, who's back in Colorado. Essentially, he just wanted me to relay that there's a hiring process going on currently for the center manager. Last week, they interviewed 4 finalists, and they have made a conditional offer to one person that they're excited about, and they're in the background process as we speak. So more to follow at the next meeting.
Best of luck to them to get that position filled. It's a very needed spot. All right, item number 3, California Fire and Rescue Training, JPA, Director Kelly.
Yes, the Fire and Rescue Training JPA met yesterday, and the 2012-2013 budget was approved, and resolution authorizing reimbursement for the signage that will go in front of the Zinfandel property was approved as well. Outside of that, we're trying to finalize language for the reimbursement from the JPA for the portion of the fence that they're going to be responsible for. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Kelly. Finance Committee, Director Monk.
Finance Committee met this evening and reviewed the monthly totals. And I'm happy to report that the changes that this board has authorized, the Finance Committee's looked at and authorized and everything, have all been making positive changes in our finances. It looks very good, and we hope that all of these will continue. Everything's in an upward swing. I do want to make a comment on our labor cost. That it was reported that there were 9.6 million in labor cost, and of that 825,000 in the concessions. And I appreciate the continuing effort of labor working with the district and the concessions to help manage our budget, and we appreciate that. And currently, we've got 11.3 million in funds remaining to be spent on our grants, and 6.1 million that we've applied for between the SAFER grants and the AFG grants. And I want to make one comment on the grants, is that we continue to look for efforts and grants that are out there to help us replace the money that we would have to spend on turnouts, on the equipment that we use. We talk about getting grants, SAFER grants for the hiring of additional personnel, and we've got grants in the works now for that purpose. But what we forget to mention, and in part of our disclosure for the public, is that it's one thing to say that we're going to go out and hire 12 people or 10 people or whatever the number is to bolster our staffing in a given area. But a lot of times we forget that just because we say that we're going to hire an individual or 10 or 12 individuals, there's a lot of things that comes with that. And this board and the district especially have been cognizant of that in pre-planning for the equipment that these individuals would be assigned to and working on, the individual equipment, whether it be turnouts or tools and equipment that go on the equipment. As we have a master plan of rotating out our equipment, that equipment becomes available for new assignments on new equipment or new trucks. So we've got it. It's not that this board is going out and spending money that blindly. There's a plan in place that helps us in pre-planning all the things that we're doing. So just pass it on to the chief and everything. We appreciate the thoughtfulness that and the efforts that we're going through in making these decisions, and it's been working out very good for the district. And that's it from the Finance Committee.
Thank you, Director Monk. All right, and the Policy Committee, their next meeting is to be announced. And we'll move on to board member questions and comments. And Director Pearson, I always pick on you first because I know you'll come through.
I'll come through, huh? Well, no, I wanted to mention that, we often talk about supporting the firefighters, and we definitely support the citizens by hiring these firefighters. But in support of the firefighters, we have a large contingency from the district right now in the Colorado Springs, Colorado, at the Fallen Firefighter Memorial. And I would just ask that the board consider making an effort. I don't know how much of an effort we want to put into it, but I'd like to see all of us get there, whether or not the district helps with that travel, or if we just go on our own. But it would be nice to see the board show support for those firefighters and actually go next year to Colorado Springs and participate in that event. I think some of the board members that have not been to an event like that before, I think it'd be very beneficial just to reaffirm the fact of what some of our decisions on the board mean. You know, we make life and death decisions sometimes away from it. I mean, we're not there on the scene where the men and women are actually putting those decisions to work. They're the ones that are really risking their lives. But I think it'd be interesting to see the board members go and actually see what the consequence could be if, you know, with staffing cuts, things like this. So just a thought. I'd like to see us all go there and participate in that event. That's pretty much all I had, I guess. If,
Thank
you know, you want to take it to a vote, or if you want to we'll talk about it or whatever.
Well, I think it's something definitely to digest before we get into any sort of vote situation. It would have to be agendized, et cetera. But I think it's well worth a discussion and consensus building and see what might be available. I think
All right.
that's an excellent idea, especially to help all members of the board get a sense, a sense of the ramifications of the decisions that we make and the policies that we set. Yes, let's talk about it some more. I think it's a great idea. Mr. Clark, Director Clark?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I attended the Run to Remember, the other day, and the Chief Cochran and Chief Hinkey, we walked together. We did. And it was fine. And actually, it was very, very well attended. Our personnel did a wonderful job. Because we were a little worried about, you know, attendance this year. It was great. I mean, the place was packed. There was all kind of people there, and the walk, and it was a wonderful day, beautiful day. It wasn't too hot or anything like that. It was a fine event. I'm glad I attended. And then on Monday, I attended a really good event by Captain Mike Dugan. He's from FDNY, and it went over a little more. You know, it was like 4 hours, but you know, it didn't seem that long because there was so much information that this man put out on truck engine and truck operations, and I mean, he went into the whole thing. I mean, it was wonderful. I got so much information that I thought it was a really good thing, and I'm going to try to attend a lot more of those meetings because I think it was great. Chief Castro's was there, and we spoke a little bit, and it was just wonderful. It was a great event, and I'm happy I attended that. And I also want to thank everyone for the reports tonight. You always do a wonderful job on the reports, and we appreciate it. That's all I have, Madam Chair.
Thank you, sir. Director Scheidegger?
I have nothing to add.
Nothing to add. Very good, sir. Director Monk?
Well, I want to say congratulations to our new hires, wherever their assignment may be, and wish Assistant Chief Wagner and Chief White best of luck in your swapping assignments. And both of them have been there before, so they'll do great. But they always need support, so good luck with that. The final thing I have is I am just now starting what I traditionally do for the Thanksgiving holiday and work into Christmas is Thanksgiving to help the needy / homeless in our community. And each year I work with a restaurant or community groups in trying to provide meals or situations for meals in the communities. We're going to be doing it in North Highlands, and I'm working on setting up something in Rio Linda at this time, working with the Park District. And I would like to extend an invitation to the other directors that if you're interested in establishing some place in your districts, your divisions, I'll help you get started. The biggest thing is finding a location for it. I would love to have this extended throughout our Metro's district and get the buy-in from Roberta McGlashan, Doug Ossie, and others to help us make this a truly a larger community event. And the thing is, I've learned, I've been doing this for, 4 or 6 years. Initially, we had the name of feeding the homeless. Well, last several years, we didn't have many homeless people show up. We had other people show up, but with the economy the way it is, we have far more needy families and needy people out here that anything that we can do to get together to be able to provide some sort of services for them in and around Thanksgiving. And what I'm trying to try to do different this year over the previous years is not only be able to provide a meal for them on that day, but if we can, provide a take-home meal for a nominal price, whatever that cost of that is, whether it's $5 or whatever the amount is, take that money and roll it over into the Toys for Tots that the sheriff's office supports to be able to maximize the benefit to the community and the kids in our community from the events that we do. So if any of the directors would like some help in setting stuff up in their districts, I'd be perfectly willing to, never afraid to ask for vendors and everybody else out there for assistance, but I'd love to see this to be a truly a larger community event in different areas.
Thank you, Director Monk. Director Gould.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This evening, we started our meeting with some very disturbing information from a community member. I have 100% confidence that our EMS chief will manage that flawlessly and that there will be a time when that woman deserves to come back in this room and receive an apology from whomever was responsible. I know it will be done correctly by our staff and by our EMS chief. It's disheartening to hear things like that. Oftentimes, we have zero control over some of those things, but any control we do have, I'm sure that this chief will exercise it, and it will be done correctly, and it will be the last time it happens. No widow deserves to have that experience, and it absolutely has nothing to do with our organization as she started. And I think it's important to remember, she started her comments this evening by saying that in no way was this anything to do with the men and women who showed up in her home and took care of her husband. And I think that needs to be reiterated. But as policymakers, we need to ensure any group that we deal with, who by extension represent this organization, do it correctly. And I know that this chief will be on it. If he hasn't already made a phone call tonight, it's probably happening in first thing in the morning, and things will happen. And I look forward to having her back and having her here so we can extend from the board an apology. And I think we need to do that, even when we're not necessarily the ones that created the problem. We have to step up and do that. And so I hope she's able to come back and we can tell her the changes that this organization has put in place because of the experience that she went through. So no one else in this community will ever go through that again. And so I look forward to hearing back from our EMS chief, and I, again, 100% confidence he's all over it. So thank you very much, Madam Chair. Thank you very much.
Director Kelly?
The only thing I have is that I will not be in attendance at our meeting on the 27th. So if there's any issues that I need to deal with prior to that meeting, I'll be happy to do that prior to the meeting. Thanks.
I just have a few items. The first one, I would like to reaffirm all the comments of Director Gould, and I will be in touch in the next 24 hours in regards to that outcome, and we will make it better. We will make it better. I'd like to remind my fellow directors to get in touch with Matt Rosenberry in regards to the IT project. It's included in our packets tonight, so please, as expeditiously as possible, make contact with him for setting up for the iPad education, IT education that we're going to be getting. I would also like to report out that the chief and many members of senior staff, we attended the 2x2 meeting with the City of Rancho Cordova. As always, very, very productive, keeping each other aware of projects, concerns, issues like the value in, et cetera, and that we continue to work very, very well together. And it's always very informative, and it's just good to feel the connection between Metro Fire District, City of Rancho Cordova, and the making of our community and making it stronger. And it's greatly appreciated by all members. And lastly, the 2013 Colorado Springs, Colorado Fallen Firefighters Memorial. I think that would be an excellent move for as many of us as possible to go back there and represent the contingency for Metro Fire as the Board of Directors. I think that would be a marvelous show of support, both locally, nationally, and internationally. International Association of Firefighters. That would, I think that would go a long way in showing our respect for the work that all of our members do here. Thank you very much for your attendance. The meeting is now closed.